I would stop watching how to start a YouTube channel videos. The information on there is very generic. It's like a copy and paste of the previous version someone else did. And a lot of the times the information on there is not very new. I've watched my fair share of how to start a YouTube channel videos, and I would not recommend watching too many of them, because the more you watch them, the more you feel like you're not ready to actually start a YouTube. A lot of them will also contain information that speaks against the other. Other people will tell you just press record on your phone or your camera, film whatever is in front of you, film whatever you want to say. And then other people are like, make sure that your pre-production is solid, plan out what you want to say, plan to have a script, and make sure that you get all of the shots that you want, which seems very overwhelming on both accounts, because sometimes you feel like you don't really know what to say, and maybe you actually want structure, but then when you actually look at the other side, it's like, it's too much structure, it's often restricting. So you know what? I would just stop. I would stop stressing myself out over equipment that I do not have and start maximizing the use of the equipment that I do have, all of the technology that I have. So if I have a smartphone and a laptop, I would use that as a start. And I would film my videos on my smartphone and edit on my laptop. Or if you only have a smartphone, just use that to film and edit. There are a wide range of free video editing software on the Apple Store or on the Google Play Store. You can have your pick. It's free. You don't have to be spending unnecessary money or money that you don't even have on something that you might even just be experimenting on. Obviously, like if you're going to be using your smartphone the entire day for like filming, editing, and maybe even hotspotting yourself so that you have a connection to the internet to upload your videos, it will overheat. So you have to account how long it takes for you to film a video before your smartphone overheats. That kind of thing. Like those are the little bits of pieces that a lot of people don't really share, that your phone will overheat because you're using it the entire time to access the internet, you're using it to film, you're using it to whatever you're using it to do. It will overheat. So you have to factor in how long until you have before your phone overheats, and then how long you have for it to cool down, and then how long you have during the day after it cools down where you can actually like do your editing and all of the other stuff that you need to do. I would stop trying to fit a niche or a specific aesthetic and focus more on the message that I would like to share, whether that's just vlogging my personal story, sharing tips with my community, or making something, whatever that is. I would just focus on the actual content, not rather like trying to make it fit into a specific thing, because ultimately you don't know who your audience is a lot of the times, and a lot of the times you get very surprised at who actually really enjoys what you originally intended on doing. So just go with it, film that, post it out there, and then see what the response is from the audience. And eventually you are actually going to find what your niche is, because the more you get feedback from your audience, the more you see that YouTube is pushing these specific types of videos of yours, and then you can start leaning more into a specific niche or aesthetic. But if you do not have the video foundation at all, and you work so hard on something and then it bums out, you feel so discouraged. So to eliminate that feeling of discouragement, put out what you actually want to put out initially, and then see what the response is, see what does well, what doesn't do well, and then if that's something that you want to lean more into, then you can do that. Because ultimately, consistency is key when it comes to YouTube. If you don't have a certain groove that YouTube can like start understanding, then it's going to be very hard for your videos to go viral. I would stop doing fancy editing, wild transitions that a lot of people do. A lot of the times those people actually have the experience in production. So I would spend more time focusing on actually just filming and seeing how long it takes to film, doing the most standard editing that I can to kind of like start feeling out what the entire process feels like. Because if you have absolutely no experience with any of those things, it's going to be very hard for you to try and figure out, oh my gosh, how did that person do that transition like that? Or, oh my goodness, where do I find A, B, and C so that I can put it into my video? But the more you actually film, the more you edit, the more you'll start feeling things out, the more you start getting into a specific groove, the more you start getting exposure to different kinds of editing and filming styles, and the more you're going to start developing your own style. And that is what people want. Ultimately, you do not want to burn out because you're trying to make this one perfect video and you keep like deleting it and starting over and deleting it and starting over. The point here is to make something that you enjoy as much as possible and put it out in the world. And then eventually you start leaning into the feedback that you receive. I would stop spending money on unnecessary gadgets and software. If I have a smartphone and a laptop, that is actually enough, because you can get free music on YouTube. You can get free music on the video editing software that you use, and you don't have to start your YouTube journey with subscriptions like Epidemic or whatever else is out there, but lean into the free stuff that you can get, at least for the beginning, until you understand what it actually takes for you to make a YouTube video. In the beginning, the last thing you want to feel is YouTube is too hard and that you will never be able to measure up to the bigger YouTubers that you actually see today. They also had a start, and you have to like start taking it a little easier on yourself and actually like lean into the talents that you actually have, the skills that you actually have, and showcase that. And then you will learn as you go. You will find your groove. You will put the correct systems and the processes in place for yourself specifically, because each YouTube journey is very unique and you never know if YouTube is actually going to be the best part of your workday if you don't try. So rather, stop watching all the motivational videos, stop watching all the how to start my YouTube channel videos, stop trying to make it seem like you are working on a budget so that you can have all of the equipment that you don't necessarily need in the start, and just start making videos.